Hello, everybody. It's Mike KF4BOG here, and as you can see by the web page that I have currently up right now, this is a review on the maxthon browser. I haven't used this browser very long. I've had it for a few days installed. Um, One of the things that I did a long time ago is I tried this when it was, I don't know what they were going for when they first had it, or when I first registered back in, I think it was back last year, I registered for this. And at the time, I don't know what they were trying to accomplish back then, but um, it had a feel for something that was right out of Firefox, and it does have that Firefoxish look to it. Like, it's got this little Firefox like hamburger menu type thing up here, which is kind of a nice looking touch to it. But I think they've done something that's really impressive, and that's why it brought me back to it. Is they've started to integrate with Google Chrome. Before, they had their own little um, app store, and I guess it didn't take off, and people were starting to go away from the um, the way that they were initially doing it. Well, now they've integrated it with the Chrome store. So everything is available now in the Chrome store so that you can have instant access to it. I took all of my websites, and this is really cool. You could actually take websites and pin them like you can in Chrome, and it has the push notifications, which I love having desktop notifications alert me of whenever something is going on. And the other thing I like is having my tabs that I frequently use all pinned in one place. Now, there are other browsers that do that, don't get me wrong, but maxthon definitely has earned its place in my daily use. It's got so many features that you won't be able to get through all of them. But the other thing that's really nice about this browser is it's got a built-in VPN, which I highly recommend that you use a VPN when you're at a public facility like a hotel or a library, for example. Um, I don't use a VPN, or I didn't use a VPN while I was at the library. I was like, heck, man, why use one while you're there? But nowadays, you have to use a VPN when you're at places, and so you can't really go wrong without having that. And it's got a whole bunch of things. I can go on forever with it, but it's got a password manager called Passkeeper, which that is considered your password manager. Max Notes, which you take notes with. It's kind of an interesting feature to have. You can manage your bookmarks with this just like you can on Firefox or Chrome or any of the other ones. Personal settings. So, like, if you have one profile and you want to create another one with your personalized settings, maxthon lets you do that. It's very, very convenient. The other thing that separates the browser from the rest of them is they have various communities. They have a blog which tells you what's going on in Maxthon's world of browsers. They are on X, formerly Twitter. They're on Facebook, and this is what I find interesting too. Is they actually have a online forum where you can go on and post questions, um, Post in the or in the newcomer section because a lot of times you'll get mm, interesting responses back. I wrote one, but I've never gotten a reply back though. Um, there's several posts that talk about maxthon and the versions. Um, Most of the time, I come in here just to see what's going on with it. Now, I have not read any of these posts yet, but I do um, intend to keep an eye on Max Fawn's things and see what's going on. I've already personalized my Maxthon browser in such a way like this is my blog, my social media posting tool that I use to post all my different social media feeds, like of course Mastodon, Threads, and um, Blue Sky and Facebook being the 2, and you probably see the notifications popping up in the, browser. You probably don't, I'm not sure if you do or not, but, it's nice. And I made my own my own personal start page, which I, always use. I have that up, and it's nice because the synchronization is instant. Here are the settings for it. Um, you basically log in and log out like you would do when you first install it. It's gonna come up with a little login screen. Of course, I can't show you that here because then it will just log me out completely. But it has this weird point system thing, and I've not really understood the whole points thing. Um, I guess every time you check in, it rewards you points and stuff like that. And I don't know how that works, how the points expire or anything. Um, I guess that's something I've got to find out through MaxFawn themselves, as to how that works. But you can see the whole thing just reminds me uh, of Firefox in a certain way because it's got that look. Um, Here's all the features that it has. I don't use all of these, like the reader mode. I don't use that. Mm, And the read aloud. I've already got stuff that does the read aloud. Um, the um, this little sniffer tool. Um, I've got it on, but I really don't see the significance of it. I may turn it off because I just don't see the point of using that. Of course, here's our section with the tabs. Um, I've got all these boxes unchecked, to be honest with you. Um, and half of the stuff I really don't use. I really don't mess with those. Of course, this is the one that you'll want to configure. You'll want to configure it to whatever page you start at. You can have it open on a new tab page, or I just keep it at that. The appearance, I like this. I mostly have stuck with the default, but they do have a dark mode. They have a little bit of a lot of a black mode, I guess you can call it. Use all the different colors that you can choose from. Let's flip through some of these. Look at all these. And I think you could even go to upload your own image too. But there's also some of these available in the app store that you could also download from the store too. So like if I click on this, here's the themes that you can browse from. And there's like a bunch of their top themes, like ones that are already on the browser to other ones. And I was going to tell you about the extensions gallery here. There's a lot of stuff, and as you can see, um it's got some really nice stuff in here. Um, this is the one that they use for maxthon itself, but it's also integrated to the Chrome store too. So you could actually use this app store or the one that's in the settings that I showed you under the extension settings. But I think I will leave it on this particular thing for right now. I do like that one, so I think I'll keep it there. The download section, you can designate where you want your downloads to be. I don't know. You can tell me whether or not you think it's a lot like Firefox or if it's got that Chrome look. Personally, I think the interface looks a lot like the the hamburger thing. This little hamburger menu reminds me of Firefox. I'm not sure about the rest of this. Um I think this part of it kind of reminds me of the Firefox browser a little bit. I'm not really sure what it reminds me of. I think it reminds me of Firefox in some way. Um, you might can tell me what you think, um, as far as what browser you think it reminds you of. Um, there's a couple of other things that are really nice. The push notifications, if you like to have desktop notifications, those do work, if you want to be able to do that. Um, the other browsers I looked at, Vivaldi, Microsoft Edge, they're okay, but that's Microsoft. Um, in more ways than one, I don't think you should use Microsoft Edge for very long. I wouldn't use it as a primary anymore. I used to have all the respect for them, but I don't use Microsoft uh, Edge anymore unless I really have to. Um, Chrome, mm, they're okay. A lot of people still use Chrome, but I think that if you're going to use Chrome, I would use it mainly just for Gmail. Probably not the browser, but that's if you really want Google peeking at you. Um, so I've done away with the. I'm slowly doing away with the Google Chrome thing. Okay. I still use Google services, but I've whittled it down to at least one Google account for everything. Have I have all my accounts linked to one email address now. So that was one of the first things I did was I took all of the email accounts that I most use and I linked them to my primary address and stuff like that. So that saved me from that having to go to the different accounts and log in. But maxthon is a totally different animal when it comes to that kind of thing. The privacy stuff is really good. They've got a do not track feature. Um, Preload web pages for faster searching. I got that turned on. Um, yeah, you can automatically send fault reports to maxthon. I have that checked too. Um, the certificate manager, I just leave it the way it is, let it do its thing. This is your own preference, just like any other browser. These are all preference. Um, enable secure DNS. I probably should enable that. Go ahead and enable the secure DNS. I think I'm going to do that too. Um, I've got this one enabled. The smart address bar. I got that enabled. Um, autofill site address according to your input characters. I got that on. Yeah, there's a lot of these that you should turn on. I think that these should be turned on too. Of course, I don't have the autofill thing turned on because I've got a password manager, so I don't need that. Um, Make sure you set maxthon as your default. It's kind of a standard. I'm going to enable the direct URL. I'm going to enable that. Accessibility. I hadn't played around with the accessibility feature yet. Really hadn't played with that. Always shows system icon. That's up to you. I don't have it show the system icon, but that's totally up to you. You can do that if you want. Minimize the system tray, that's another option. Close the system tray, you could have it do that too. I probably will do that. I'll probably have it close the system tray there. Um, yeah, and I think I will minimize it to system tray too. Always show system tray icon. I think I'll check those boxes, those three boxes. Um, I'm not gonna let it continue running in the background. Yeah, hardware acceleration, acceleration if available. Leave that one checked there. Just going through here and seeing what else I could find. But yeah, this is maxthon. It's a really good looking browser. I don't see any major um, thing that I can say bad about it. Really, I can't really say anything bad about it. Um, if you go under the account security, this is where it's really most important. Is when you go to account security and make sure that you turn the settings on in account security, because you want to make sure that this is all the way green. Make sure you confirm your email address, that you have your password taken care of. You have a blind email address set up in case you need to have an issue with that. Backup email, I really don't have much problems with that, so I really didn't put a backup email in there. I put a phone number that I use mainly just for texting and stuff like that. Two-factor authentication, yeah. I would do the two-factor. I would use that in case you needed to get in and you have a cell phone with a two-factor app on it. I would definitely do that. That way you stay double secure with it. Um, and this is a lot like Firefox, actually. Come to think of it, yeah, because you can link up to three different devices with this. Like, I linked this to like device 419. This one's linked on um, 417, and the MacBook was linked on 418. And of course, you can delete and log out if you want to be able to not have that particular device linked to the maxthon system anymore. You could actually do that. So it does give you a lot of flexibility, actually. I seriously think this does remind me of Firefox. And if you want to delete your maxthon account, you just click the delete button and it deletes your maxthon account, which I'm not going to do. Well, that's my take on the maxthon browser. If you have any questions or suggestions, the link to the maxthon website is in the description there. Feel free to post your comments, suggestions. And if you have a a web browser you would like for me to review, please let me know. I've reviewed several of them. Uh, I think this one's going to be my daily driver, though, because it's got so much to offer. Again, hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching.